Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm the Scrawny Bandit, and today we're going to do a little bit different thing. I think I'm going to call this the mainline. We take a look at some of my builds and more modern guns, more like commercial grade guns, less on the surplus side stuff. So today we have something very interesting. As you can see, let me make sure. Mag is empty, chamber is empty, so the weapon is safe. So what this is, for the keen-eyed among you, you may have already guessed it. This is the Euro version of the Draco, so to speak. Here, where I live in Switzerland, we do not have SBR laws like the US, where barrel length is deciding. It's the overall length of the rifle while it still can be fired, meaning it cannot be shorter than 60 centimeters while it still can be fired. So stuff like takedown shotguns or like takedown hunting rifles, they don't fall into that. And then you just need another acquisition permit, but yeah, these you can get here rather easily, and we're gonna have a closer look on who makes these, what are these, and are they any good. So as said, these are made in Romania, and this is a Nova Modul SKR7T. That's just their model description. The T stands for quote-unquote tactical. They have a different version. We're going to have a quick look at the website. And as you can see, they produce all kinds of rifles. It's a Nova Modul. From my research, from what I could see, they originally produced car parts and other things, and then started producing parts for the Cougar factory. And basically, after they gained enough know-how, they started producing commercial grade AKs for the European and part of the US market. As you can see, they also have like all the rifles in pistol form, and these pistols, some of those Century Arms imports into the US, specifically the CT9S, the 9mm, as the Draco 9S that probably people already saw. So these aren't super high quality rifles, but just commercial grade European AKs. So as you've seen on the pictures, these come a little bit different than the rifle that's here. What you get with this version is you get a 12-inch barrel or 30mm barrel that's threaded 1 to 14 left-handed, so that works greatly. You get a hinged rail dust cover, as you can see, as well as this polymer M-lock handguard. But yeah, it's light and all, but I didn't like how it looks at all. So it does what it's supposed to do. It fits in greatly. It keeps the heat away. It's super light, but it's just ugly. And they come in without a mag at 7 pounds or 3 kilos. This here probably is a little bit heavier now. So that's what you get when you buy the rifle. Here in Europe, they are on the medium to low price spectrum. The prices aren't comparable to the US, so there's no point in naming numbers. But yeah, I would place them on the lower mid-tier end price-wise. So let's break her apart and have a look inside and see what I did to the gun, and yeah, have a closer look. Take out the mag. Make sure again she is clear. And then you can, like with every AK, just push in the button here and the dust cover hinges open. Then you can take out the spring like normal and pull the carrier group out. Yeah, let's put this like this. And that's basically it. I wouldn't take off the stock or anything like that. So what kind of upgrades did I do to this specific variant? Let's start at the front. What we did here is this is a blast deflector that is mounted, I'm not sure if you can see that here, onto a 3-port muzzle brake. This is an Acheron blast deflector as well as an Acheron 3-port muzzle brake. I use those brakes on most of my AKs and they were great. So we're very happy with that setup. Then we have a basic Streamlight Protect 2 with a switch. That's I think 800 lumen or something like that, nothing special. And then the first kind of unique part is this is a Barbaros Alpha rail, the quad rail version of it. It's just a rail, so it's not the whole setup. This hinged dust cover setup is from Nova itself, and you're gonna look into that a little bit later. It looks super flimsy here, but surprisingly after 5,000 rounds now, it holds 0. So when I first got this thing out of the box, I was super skeptical on this whole construction here, because again, that doesn't look good. But it does its job, so I can't complain. Up here, I took an HFG or Hera Arms HFG vertical front grip and cut it off. That's about all we did here. And on top we have a Holosun HS515, I think. And yeah, very happy with that setup. The standard grip still in there. And this is a European AK, so of course it's overgassed like really bad. It deforms your brass and it yeets brass like 30 yards across, 30 foot across the barn, so not optimal. As well, you can see on the bolt here, as well as the back end of the bolt here, she is overgassed to the point that she beats herself to death. So that's something you have to keep in mind. The first thing to fix that is I put in a KNS adjustable gas piston. Worked greatly. We have one issue with these guns. So one negative up front. They aren't 100% to spec. So the handguard fit in like a glove. No issues at all. Changing out grips, no issue at all. ALG trigger took a lot of work getting it to sit where it sits now, and I actually needed the help of a gunsmith to basically get the necessary tools to adjust the ALG trigger. So it seems like the receiver is a little bit out of spec. It's a little bit smaller than the rest, and the same goes for the bolt carrier as well as the gas piston. So if you buy a KNS gas piston, if you ever looked at the offerings they have like 5,000 different gas pistons, because every AK is kind of a little bit different in length, and there are 100,000 models basically. So yeah, they have to make sure they find every model. Even with the very big selection you find from KNS, I had to modify this gas piston to make it fit. And from the length, it works, but if you buy the one that has the correct length, it won't fit here with the screws. So you have to basically either deepen the threads or cut off with a tool the threads on the piston itself and make it fit. It's very AK to make it fit. Once it fits, it works flawlessly. But yeah, it's not plug and play like an AR. And I found that with these, as soon as it has something to do with the receiver, you will run into adjustment issues. That's one little thing up front. So yeah, then we have a ALG enhanced lightning bolt trigger in there, as well as a Crips Customs ambi safety, because I'm wrong-handed. And they come, as you saw in the picture, they come with an M4 stock. So I put a Cheek riser on there so it all fits, because the Optic has to be on a riser so I can see over my sausage fingers. So yeah, that's what I did to the gun so far. And by now we are at the point that it shoots amazing. So we are going to the range right after this, and you're gonna see it's a true pleasure to shoot. So out of the box, it kicks a little bit, it's a little bit rough around the edges, but you can, if you put in the time and like to fiddle with stuff, you can really get her to a point where she is amazing to shoot. So it's probably one of my favorite rifles at the moment. One of the reasons I went through over 5,000 rounds now in 11 months having her. So yeah, in general, for what you pay for it in Euro classes, this is a nice first AK. If you are super strict about everything being 2-spec and don't want to take out the Dremel to put everything into your Draco, this is probably not the gun to use. But let's go to the range and let's dump some mags and yeah, give you an impression how that feels. So we are back at the range and we got the Draco here with us. First, we're gonna just take a few shots and show you how the recoil works. As you can see, there's now a K&S gas piston in there, so it is very soft shooting. I'm using Norma Tactical 123 grain ball ammo. This is a little bit spicy, so it's a good test for the whole system and especially for the gas piston. So without further ado, I'm a lefty, so you can see. Check some of the mag fitments. So these are Unity mags. No issue at all. Then these are cheap Korean steel mags. Fit fine. Feed perfectly, no issue at all. Then this is an interesting one. This is a Bakelite mag. Fit. And feet are perfectly fine. So next we're gonna just mag dump a bit for the fun. Mags. This one is empty. This is another Unity mag. She's already getting warm, but as you can see, she is glowing, but The quad rail does a real good job. I can touch this here, no issue at all. No problems here. Yeah. As you can see, she is warm, she's glowing, but no issues at all. Reliability with that one is no problem. It's an AK. It runs, it spits, and yeah, brass is no issue. Steel, I shot a lot of steel through it. No issues at all there as well. So yeah, that's the part from the range, and let's go back and have a look how the wear and tear of this thing held up after 5,000 rounds like that. So we are back at the table, and as I mentioned at the range, this is like 90% of the ammo I use. This is the Norma Tactical Full Metal Jacket or ball rounds. They come in these 20 round boxes. Why not 30, don't ask me. And here we pay around 40 cents a round. They are a little bit, as I mentioned, more spicy than other ball ammo. I've seen online pictures of trunnions that broke and people claim it is from that ammo. It's not that consistent. I've now ran through 11,000 rounds of this stuff this year. I had one dot that just wouldn't fire in that package of 11,000 rounds. So I never had an issue, but your mileage may vary. Other than that, I shoot some of this stuff here, which is the Barnall's steel case ball ammo. If you can find it here, it's around the same price, so I prefer the brass just because cleaning the range makes it easier if it's all brass you're shooting. That's mostly it. And for basically self-defense or hunting, you would use those PPU round nose soft point rounds. They are pretty nice for that. But yeah, that's like 90% of the ammo that goes through my guns, and this one had this year now a little bit over 5,000 rounds. 80% was this stuff. So let's have a look at the innards real quick and see how much the rifle was used. So that's another part. This spring, this isn't an original spring. This is an ALG Recoil spring. It just helps the carrier move a little bit slower, which is nice. It's nicer on the parts, which I kind of like. So let's take the bolt out here and have a closer look. And as you can see, there are still the machining marks in there, so that's not here. There's like no usage at all. There are like little scrapes on the inside, but that's all mostly developed within the first 1,000 rounds. And since then, there was like no movement whatsoever. You can see here, this now gets polished down, and there is, like this, there is the tiniest, so if you, not sure if you see it visibly, but if you run your thumb over this here, you can feel there's a little bit of mushrooming. The same goes down here on the carrier, but that's That's mostly it. The K&S gas piston is dirty, but other than that, it stays in place. It does what it's supposed to do, so no complaints there at all. Then let's have a closer look at the bolt. You can see here the bolt head looks fine. There's a free-floating firing pin in there. That's as usual. And as I mentioned before, the extractor looks fine as well. There's still a ton of brass on there because even though we now have a gas piston in there, plus the ALG recoil spring slowing down the carrier, the extraction of an AK is still violent. So that's just gonna happen. You're just gonna have brass all over the stuff. Looking at the locking notches, they look fine so far as well. There's a little bit, it's getting, or it's got worked in, but since now the last 2,000 rounds or something like that, there's like no change in these parts. The one thing I was a little bit afraid, if you look at this, yeah, here you can see it, there are dents in the firing pin, and yeah, like this, you can see it if I push it out. You can see that firing pin got worked. I mean, a firing pin is something that's gonna get used a lot, so no surprise there. But even though we have an ALG trigger in there, this happened before that, and since then I was afraid that it's gonna get worse using the ALG trigger, but I'm happy to say no. This as well looks like this for the last 3,000 rounds or something like that. Then the locks in here look nice as well. Let me see if I can take that up. This also looks totally okay for 5,000 rounds. Yeah, that's like no complaints from my side. And let's have a short look into the barrel, because this is a nitrided barrel, so not chrome lined. You cannot produce chrome lined barrels in Europe for the private market for what reason ever, but yeah, let's have a look. Lose the flashlight as usual. Yeah, that looks that looks basically brand new. There's still a lot of rifling to see, so I'm not worried at all with this barrel. I mean, 7.62 isn't that rough on a barrel anyways, and AKs should take a lot of rounds, but again, this is a rather cheap, for the commercial European market built AK, so I'm not expecting military grade performance out of the barrel, but I'm happily surprised. So this looks very nice. Let's put it together and go over some final thoughts. So yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, the rifle is a cheap or cheap-ish version of a Romanian Draco. It's not a military produced one, and again, Nova Modul never produced for the army. They always were like WBP, a producer for the commercial market. They've started a few years ago, so there's still that. You don't know, are they gonna stick around or not? And from what I've heard, a few of their early models, especially the pistols that got imported to the US, some of them were a bit wacky. So, that all said, I love that thing. I have a lot of fun with it. It's great. And if you're not worried about having to get out the Dremel and adjust some stuff so it fits this particular rifle, as I mentioned, the carrier as well as the dust covers seems to be some proprietary thing. It's not super out of whack, but it's definitely not standard. So stuff you put in there has to be adjusted a little bit, but once you do that, as you've seen at the range, there's like no reliability issues at all. So to make a long story short, would I recommend it? Now after 5,000 rounds, most definitely. It's a fun gun you can use as a base and then build out from there, and don't feel bad about it. I mean, I got my rattle cans out and put a Alpenflage camo on that thing. So I wouldn't do that with my Ismarsh AK or anything like that, but yeah, as a range toy, or I even shoot some competition with this thing. So for that kind of thing, amazing for the price what you get. And if you living in the US and you get the ability to put a stock on your full-size Draco, do it. It makes it amazing. So yeah, that was my input to the European Draco. Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, hit me with a subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.